Back to Horses of Courses. I'm Tania,
I'm Susanna.
and we are bringing you your May podcast. It feels like it's been a long time because we shared our April podcast on the 1st of April. And so now we are just a few days from the end of June. So it's been almost 2 months, but we are not behind. In fact, we are right on time.
Only because I saved the day and drove all the way here.
Yes, but it wasn't just to podcast, though that would have been a good enough reason. Susanna brought a potential...
I brought a fake mama.
A fake mama for baby Saffron, if you've been following that. And then she's taking back a foster for herself at her farm. Grits needs to continue to heal on a leg where he had a soft tissue injury. Was it a soft tissue injury?
He had a
splint?
Certain kind of splint, but it has a fancy name. I can't. He
Anyway,
got kicked and it splinted.
And so he has to heal up from that, and that's been months and months and months in the works. But it'd just be easier to be at her farm. Not as much ruckus there as at the main facility, and then she's taking back Sprocket to a trainer foster. So lots of useful things happening. We're going to jump right into the ATFO. We are now almost 30 days in to...
Is it just 30?
Yeah, we're not even quite to 30.
April 28th.
28th.
Oh, yeah.
We're not even...
Like it's been a long time.
Actually, I feel like we always live in the ATFO. We never are not in
ATFO.
We only have a couple of months.
We're either in the ATFO talking about how the ATFO went, or planning for the ATFO, or kicking off the ATFO. Like the ATFO is the gift that keeps on giving.
So this year, pickup was easier because of the way
I agree.
I think it was easier.
As the person who does the predominance of the barn work there, I agree it was much easier.
We had a lot fewer horses at pickup because we've started doing 365 where the horses that go out for that, they go out ahead of time, and also whippersnappers went out ahead of time, and I think both of those things were really important. It also reduced our cost because we have to pay per stall, and so this way we saved money, and also horses got more training, and fewer horses needed moved, fewer horses needed fed.
You know what else was great? A bunch of the trainers pitched in and helped clean stalls for poor Dave, and
right.
Nelson pitched in and helped do that, and a bunch of our volunteers.
So poor Dave is he helps run the facility that we rent to use, and for ATFO and the main event, the pickup and the main event. And he had an injury. So yeah, everybody was super nice. Everybody that was new seemed great. I liked the choices everybody made. And the thing that I always love is people will say, why don't you just randomly assign the horses? Why would you do that when a person has the opportunity to hear about the horse and pick the horse that fits for their style and program best? And it's not everybody wanting the same horse. This year I went around and filmed everybody telling me.
I think there were only two overlaps.
There were only 2 overlaps, and their backup horse preference wasn't the same. And so it really, everybody almost got the horse they wanted, and I love that. It's so much better for the horses and morale of the trainer. So just really great all the way around. Everybody's been posting nice. Facebook is making it hard for...
Oh my gosh, Facebook's giving me a headache.
Yeah, so things that we're sharing aren't circulating great. So if you enjoy the ATFO, I encourage you, go to the trainers' pages. I have everything up there and out and updated really, quick and ahead of time this year. So if you go to ATFO, the Appalachian Trainer Face Off on Facebook, or if you go to AppalachianTrainerFaceOff.com, you can find who has what, the information on the horse, the links to buy their t-shirts. The t-shirt sales are up this year. We have a new provider, so if you've bought in the past and were disappointed in the shipping times, we have a new host for the shirts. And
thank goodness.
It was a mess last year. A lot of people were getting shirts months later, and
some of them got shirts in December when the ATFO ended in August. It was ridiculous.
Right, and so we made the change, but all of that's updated and out there now, so you can follow along. Go follow the trainers themselves from their pages, and most of them are doing really good content. I want to give it a shout out. Allison Mattis does a wonderful job of posting daily, day such and such. I don't know if she's missed a day with Lacey or Rojo. If she has, it's not been more than one. So she does daily posts that are very thoughtful and just they're wonderful. Another gal that's killing it is Kaylee Eves at social media. She's done some wonderful posts with Laurel, and Laurel also just looks great.
Kirsten Joe posts a lot.
Kirsten Joe posts a ton.
That's going to be a heck of a pony if you're looking for a kid's pony.
She has Blitzen. And if we leave off people, these are the ones that I'm seeing a lot of content from. They actually are generating a lot of content. It doesn't mean everybody else's posts. I mean, I've seen a lot of good posts, but these are the folks that are really generating a lot of content. So start following your favorite folks. If you have any interest in potentially adopting, get your application in now. Get approved ahead of time, because we brought back, by popular trainer demand, even in this hard economy, I thought was so great. They want to get together. They want to get together and have a trainer meetup. We had done
The more we get together. You know that song?
No,
get together.
But I'm going to learn it.
It'll be the next one I sing to you when you're freaking out on a mountain. The happier we'll feel, because your friends are my friends.
Oh, I do know that song.
Your friends actually aren't really my friends.
No, not many of them.
Not many of them. Sorry.
We are doing a trainer meetup. They asked for one. We had done away with it thinking it would be kind of financially challenging, and they want to do one. So we're going to plan something at Hawking Hills, likely the 3rd or 4th weekend in July.
That's the neat thing about the ATFO. The trainers get so they actually really like each other. They want to hang out with each other, and they have fun with each other, and they continue on with that after the ATFO's over.
Well, and I think that Susanna did a post on the ATFO talking about just like the connections and how important not just watching the trainers grow, but watching the contacts that they make and the friendships and how they kind of unfold. And what I really loved is the way the trainers saw that, sort of sharing it with their comments. So I've been like print screening those, because I'd like to get them together in a post. And some of the judges, like Noah T.Y. from Steady Horse, came on, and he made like a really great, like lengthy response to that post. And I like
it's the only post that's circulated in the past 4 weeks.
Yeah. And Kirsten Joe shared it and kind of took a line Susanna said and made it like a moniker. No, not a moniker, a motto. Sorry.
Not a moniker.
Not a moniker, a motto of It's a Movement.
It's a good name for a horse, though. It's not a horse moniker.
I do like that.
It means name. That'd be funny.
Yeah.
What's my name? Name. Your name is name.
I think It's a Movement would be great to have with the ATFO logo. I might make a shirt like that. Have it on the back. It's a Movement.
Look at that. That's 2 things I've come up with: this heartbeat P thing and the other thing.
So anyway, that's where we are with ATFO. We hope to see you there. The event is August 20th through 22nd, and lots of fun. Until then, we're going to dive next into EPM and possums. There's a lot of controversy around this, and whatever we're saying about this, understand research indicates lots of different things about this, and so it's the only thing you can leave this with is it's hard to say. Or it depends. It depends on what you read, what research. You can't ask AI and Google about this. They come up with totally wrong answers. What you'd have to do is dive into lots of research, and a lot of it's contradictory. But what bothers me, especially this time of year, a lot of possums are having babies, and they're I see really cruel, right down evil posts from horse owners about just trying to kill possums in unspeakable ways, and it's all with blaming EPM. And that, for one, even if possums were responsible for EPM wholly and that there was no other contributing factor, it wouldn't be a reason to do the things people are doing. It's so awful. I wouldn't want to adopt to someone who would mutilate an animal because of some potential risk. It's very sad. But what I want always to bring up is it is theorized by some people, and some research indicates that cats are an intermediate host that may deliver the protozoa to possums. Either way, cats play a role in the cycle in some manner.
And other animals. Skunks. What was the other thing? Raccoons. Which barn people tend to hate raccoons.
Well, they do. That's why I always think of cats, because barns often have a lot of cats. And cats very likely play some role. Potentially, I have read research papers that have indicated Some of the studies say that cats actually are a host that transmits just like possums. It's a bit of a gray area. Now, there's plenty of stuff saying they don't, but there's enough saying they may to be aware that killing possums and being unfair toward wildlife may not even be the answer, even if you would find that to be an appropriate answer.
You know what we do know about cats, though? Cats are where parvo jumped from cats to dogs. Dogs didn't originally get parvo; it mutated through cats.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
which I have.
I like cats. We're not hating at cats. I love my cats.
We got cats here. We got cats at our house. Tania lives with a cat in her house, which is really quite shocking.
I love my cat.
And talks to it like a baby. Come here, widow tat.
I do.
You went out of my room, widow tat. Oh, widow tat.
Oh, the cat is making noise. What does she need?
What does the cat need?
But you know, I'm
not anti-cat.
No, but it is, and I'm not saying that it is definite that cats transmit EPM to possums. I'm saying there's research and some cycle charts that indicate that is what happens. And I'm saying that I have read some research that theorizes cats may actually transmit it to horses. You may read 20 papers that say that's not the case, but I have read some that say it is possible. So when we don't know, it depends, it's a gray area, we don't really know, it isn't the time to have a barn full of cats while we're doing cruel things to possums trying to, just survive. You can, you can take that how you want. And it's also a point where Suzanne and I, we have found through the years, a lot of horses have been turned into the rescue where they've said the horse has EPM, and we've done spinals, and the horse's blood work said they had it, but the spinals said they do not. And that is a definite answer. If spinal tap says no, then they don't have it. So in our experience, it is wildly diagnosed within horses coming to Heart of Phoenix.
And it's really low vitamin E.
It's almost always, in our experience, low vitamin E. And low vitamin E is a treatment for EPM, but low vitamin E, like filling those blanks in and stabilizing vitamin E, will not make a spinal. It will not make a spinal say that they don't have EPM. It won't suddenly make a horse that had EPM their spinal fluid test clear.
But you know what vitamin E will do? It will help. Will help protect against your horse getting EPM because it's a anti-inflammatory and one of the things that helps your horses fight off various things like joint damage. It's not the be-all, end-all, but it'll help your horse fight off things like joint damage and EPM and a bunch of other things. So you shouldn't have low vitamin E in your horses regardless.
Well, and that's, I think, something we want to address on another podcast. That always...
oh, good. Let's write that down.
Let's write that down. But anyway, my takeaway, be kind to all animals. Try to make it work that wildlife can exist. You having horses shouldn't prohibit wildlife existing, and doing something cruel is not the answer to anything. So I feel very strongly about that. And don't leave this saying Heart of Phoenix says cats give horses EPM. I'm just saying I have read papers indicating it's not impossible. So, have a barn full of cats and kill possums doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to me, so don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Susanna wants to talk to you about Saffron. I think she has been invested more in this than even I have because she is more of the searcher down of like, what's going on? Why has this happened? But you also got the call. I mean, you got the message first when she was born. It was the night after ATFO pickup.
She called me first and told me she was in labor on the 28th. It was the night of.
She called you being AJ, who fosters.
Yeah, AJ called
her
me
mom,
and said she was in labor. And then about 30 minutes went by, and then she messaged me and said, it's not good. And so then I talked to her, and she was a red bag delivery, and she was stuck, and she really appeared fairly normal in the beginning. I kind of had a lot of hope about it, and then after an hour went by, she started going way backwards, and throughout the night it was very, very dire. Kept getting more and more dire looking.
And it was a hard thing because we had just truly exhausted any ability that we had within our bodies and minds to physically get up and drive many hours in the middle of the night.
Oh, I was exhausted. And not only that, but I had been over to take my shoes off and smashed my face on a metal altar because I was sleeping in the cowboy church, and just busted the crap out of my face.
Because this was the evening after pickup. So this happened, like 11 o'clock at night. AJ stayed up with the baby. We tried to get our local vet out. There's a huge shortage of vets, but also this really required somebody with a lot of experience. And unfortunately, a non-equine vet was on call, and they just weren't able to do anything to really
Haggard,
intervene.
And they told us to do a few things and try to get her there as soon as we could.
But Haggard was struggling to even know if they had a neonatal stall open. And by the time that it all worked out, safety of driving was not feasible.
I woke up after I finally went to sleep. I woke up and I texted AJ and I said, "How's it going?" And the phone immediately rang and she said, "You're not going to believe this." And I said, she's going to tell me she's passed away. And she said she's up on her chest talking to me and acting almost like a normal foal. And I'm like, well.
And AJ had been doing what Haggard had told Susanna to have her do, doing Karo syrup on her gums.
Every half an hour.
Tried the Madigan squeeze. A lot of red bag foals are dummy foals. And this baby ultimately really was a dummy foal for sure. And if you don't know about that, that's a different episode, but you can look that up.
And the selenium deficient foal.
Yeah. And so Susanna now had a little bit of sleep and was able to put her in her minivan.
Yes.
And drive her to Haggard, where we had her there about 8 days. 8, I think. 8 days. The bill was probably $12,000. We did a lot of fundraising. If you're hearing this, it saved the baby's life. Like, she will be a perfectly normal, healthy foal. She just had to have that intervention because the mother was so disadvantaged. Taziki, her previous foal, she was totally emaciated when we got her 10 weeks prior to birth. Not even 10 weeks, about 8 weeks prior to birth.
And it was wild because she was in a very big field of grass. And I remember saying, I wonder if she's selenium deficient. You said in all this grass she couldn't be.
It would be unlikely. We don't really know on the selenium anyway. We know the baby was somewhat low.
That means the mom had to be.
Yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying is the baby was somewhat low. We don't know how much that factored. But the soil in West Virginia, all of it's selenium deficient. But that wouldn't have anything to do with the weight of the mare. The mare
it did with the red bag, though, probably.
Yes, it has probably some connection there. But the weight of the mare, I mean, she was in awful shape.
She was, and it was so weird because even if her teeth were that bad and she had worms.
But selenium plays a little, not a ton of role. Copper plays a lot of role, but she may have been low copper too. Plays a lot of role in copper in parasite resistance. So there was parasitic stuff, but this mare just needed more than she was getting out there. Maybe if we'd have walked the fields, we'd have found it wasn't great nutrition grass-wise out there. But her previous foal had died.
Yes.
Right at birth, the year before, the owner said, and they let her.
Probably the same problem.
Probably
really?
So. This baby, Saffron, was a big foal.
She was a big foal.
I mean, almost 100 pounds. It was really out of a mare that's small, and the sire is small.
Yeah.
Asiago, the daddy of this baby, is in the
brother,
ATFO.
Sister, uncle.
Yeah, probably her brother.
Brother, sister, uncle, father.
But so the bill, we do get discounts at Haggard, and we don't know what that final bill will be. And there was donations that came in. It wasn't enough. We're still, if you hear this and feel like you could give, I would, mention that's a great place to direct some funds, or the aftercare. Now this baby is thriving. She's doing well. She's how old now?
4 weeks today.
4 weeks today.
4 weeks.
And she's doing great. Her foster's been over backward to accommodate her. Susanna brought her a mare to maybe try to be her mama. She won't be able to nurse this mare, but the mare is very mothering, and it's good for a baby to be raised with another horse.
Not
if you don't want to orphan.
That fella on the. What? We don't have a. We don't have a.
Well, we can't call it that.
Oh well, we don't have
a hot take.
We don't have a hot take.
So our hot take is that. That guy? Not a guy. It can't be.
It was a guy.
No.
Oh.
It can't be.
It can't be a guy. Is it a cat?
It can't be. We can't call it ding-a-ling, and we can't make it about someone. We've just heard this thing in our hot take. The issue. We have to make it about the issue. The issue is
more rules.
The issue.
Like rules.
I do not. The issue is that some people may believe that it doesn't matter that foals don't have parents. That foals aren't raised with horses. Horses don't need other horses. That's the myth. That's ultimately. The issue is.
I can't do this. This is too many rules.
The issue is some may think.
Oh my God. that the baby horse doesn't think she's a human, and she doesn't need a horse to teach her how to be a horse.
It was a wild thing.
It is wild.
So that's not true. I don't need to go into why. I'm just telling you.
Common sense would tell you that's not true.
It's like,
have you ever seen the pigs that raise a kitten, and the daggone kittens think they're pigs, and they walk around trying to make an oinky noise?
No, but that's funny.
It is, but it's like the same thing as a human trying to raise a baby horse.
Yeah, it's very. What you need to know, it's very damaging to a baby horse they need to be in a herd setting. They need to have an older horse that mothers them. It's very important. And so that's what we're trying to make happen, because we know, whether someone else out there may not, we know it's important, and we know she will start to think she's just the same as a person. How would her little brain know much? Yes, horses have some instincts, but those can be overridden. Not terribly.
To back that up, Paloma's foal is 2 days older than her, and Paloma's foal knows how to eat grass because Paloma eats grass. This baby has no clue on the planet how to eat grass.
And Paloma's baby, as sassy as it is, doesn't want to run over top of people and push their way through people and aren't desperate to be with people. She wants to be with her mother, running around. Whereas Saffron is grafted onto AJ and wants to be with AJ and almost grieves when AJ's not in there.
She does.
So that's not what we want. So it's not the right course. So we're hoping to fix that. But the baby's doing well, and it's really a miraculous recovery. There was a lot of medical intervention, but the fact that she survived initially.
Well, I mean, when I got her there, she was fighting them so bad they had to sedate her because she was fighting with them, and they were all trying to hold her down, and she was being a picklehead.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. So we're so glad that anyone who donated did so to make it possible for us to provide her what she needed in that emergency situation.
Right.
Lastly,
speaking of what it costs to rescue something.
Oh, yeah, speaking of what rescue costs, that's our main topic, and that was a good way to, slollinge.
What?
Slooge.
What? I don't even know what word.
Like when you go down a slollinge?
Slalom?
No, it's like you're going in a tube or something down somewhere.
That's called a slalom.
Is it slalom?
Yeah,
no, I think it's a luge.
Well, there's a luge also.
So I'm putting together
neither of these words
luge
fit
and slalom.
I don't know what you're just say transition.
Okay, well we're gonna. Yeah, I wanted to slollinge, but I think that's not a real word.
Stop saying that.
It sounds awful.
It's like voiced.
Oh no, we're transitioning into what does rescue cost? And I did a post about this, but Facebook isn't letting anything circulate much lately.
Except for my post.
Except that ATFO post you did, yeah. And essentially, there's lots of elements to it. I could drag it out. It was just no surprise for hours, but
let's not. I gotta go home.
The points that I think I would want to hit that are important is that a horse that there's a way to make money as a rescue, meeting the needs of the horses and placing them well. There's a way to make money on just the placement fees of the horses. Like, there's this concept that if we put a $2,000 adoption fee on a horse, which our base fee is $1,500, so that tends to be what our fees are. But sometimes trainers receive half of any fee that comes from a horse in their care for hop. So maybe a trainer says, let's say a $3,000 fee, and people are like, that's too high. I thought you were a rescue. Well, honey, that has not come close to covering the cost of the horse. You're just making money on the placement. What kind of money can you make?
We hear that all the time.
All the time.
So much. You're just in it for the money.
You're making money on the horse. Well, that's interesting. Let me go out there and watch sales horses that are going for $15,000, $18,000. And those horses, as a rule, aren't even going to have the amount of, for one, they weren't rehab horses that needed recovery. But two, the odds of them having an exhaustive, essentially a PPE done just to make sure they're comfortable without an indication of that being necessary is very low. So when a horse comes to Heart of Phoenix, they come in, they're going to have some level of disadvantage. They're going to need training, period. No matter what. There's some disadvantage. There's some need of training. So let's take a basic case where the horse is a little bit thin and the horse has been ridden a little bit but is pretty green. And that's really not what we usually get. Usually they're totally unhandled or have more medical concerns. But let's imagine that's what it is. So the horse comes in, immediately the horse is going to get an exam. They're going to get a physical exam plus a lameness exam. So they say they don't initially pass the lameness exam. Something's a little bit funny on a leg. We're going to x-ray it. Okay, we've ruled out any bone issues. We're going to give the horse a month and we're going to revisit.
And some vitamin E.
We're going to put the horse on supplements. We're going to put the horse on, nutritional supplements, start feeding the horse well. Then we're going to go ahead and vaccinate it because it's going to be on the property. We're going to go ahead and vaccinate it. We're going to go ahead and pull a coggum.
And do its teeth.
Usually go ahead and do its teeth. We may not. We may say, let's let Dr. Walker, is this impeding its life today? Can we wait and see how it vets out? But whatever. So he comes back in a month. Now he rechecks horse's sound. It was stoved up, trailer ride, whatever. We repeat the lameness. That's another lameness. Make sure the horse is comfortable. Now we do an intake. We do blood work. We do deworming. We do a fecal. We do teeth. And we do freeze brand. We do microchip. So we're now $900 in medical care alone. We've had the horse a month, so that's $300 more. We're now $1,100 in care, but the horse has not even yet received training, and it's still kind of rehabby. So we keep the horse 2 more months, that's $600 more in care. Then we start working on finding a trainer. Then there's $300 of transport to get the horse to the trainer.
You know what happens in the middle of all that? The horse's nutrition catches up, it starts changing color, we post pictures, and people say that's not the same horse.
And sometimes that happens. Oh, I forgot the farrier. How can we forget? So the horse has been with us, 3-4 months. So the horse has had 2 farrier trims. That's at least $100 if it just needed trims. So now what brings us to $1,500 into the horse. The horse has not yet received training. The horse isn't adoptable yet. Now the horse goes to a trainer. Training tends to run a minimum of $1,000 a month. Now, we're not paying that, but it's still a donation to our rescue in value. It's a donation to us, not to the random person. It is donation, in-kind donations coming to us. If the horse needs trim during that time, usually we cover that. If the horse needs a vet during that time, we cover that. So now the horse is adoptable 3 months in. We've probably covered $200 of random expenses, ulcer treatment, etc. Between that time, it's got now $3,000 of value-added training. So we're at $1,500, $1,600, $1,700, say $1,800. And it never goes this easy. I'm giving a fictional nice version. It never works this way.
Maybe 2 a year.
Yeah, 2 a year to do this. And the horse is adoptable for $3,000, of which the trainer will receive half and we will receive half. Let's just say the horse adopts right off. It took that amount of time. We're only 4 months in. The horse adopts. So we receive a donation.
We rehabbed it for 4 months and sent it to a trainer.
No, we had it about 3 months, but the first month. So there's 4 months, and the trainer had it 3.
There's a lot of things out there. Now I'm not even keeping
it. No, I said it took a month to make sure the horse was comfortable. Say we had it 3 months to get it on track. Or maybe I said 2. Anyway, if somebody's hearing this, what you're following is bare minimum, we've had $1,800 of donor funding invested in this horse. Say it adopts out for $3,000, we receive an adoption fee of $1,500. We're still in the negative, and that's if it went perfectly. I mean, that's about as good a setup as we could ever hope for. 1 or 2 a year maybe go that way. Usually it's a 12-month event. The horse is with us, 10 of those months, and the investment's more around $6,000, $7,000.
Well, let's think about poor Twinkie, who came to us with her couple days old baby. But we also were supporting them before they actually came to us because that foster was holding
to keep them from something bad happening.
And then she was pretty feral. Then she took all that feed to try to keep her looking halfway decent. And then we had to hold her. So we had her
about 12 months.
Yeah, and we had to hold her till we weaned the baby.
Yeah.
And then
We've treated her for ulcers twice. Medically. So just let's say at your, like, let's say $2,400 in care costs. Vet costs another $5. So we're at $29.
And then I had ulcer treatments. Here.
Ulcer treatments cost about $1,000 a month.
You had a holler here.
Holler here. So she is about.
She was getting farrier care every 4 weeks for a long time to fix her feet up.
So I mean that's about a $5,000, maybe $5,000, roughly.
For a 13.2 hand pony, who is an adorable color.
For 12 months, and 12 months is about average of care. And she didn't actually have any crisis medical issues, major, This was just care, and she had a foal on her. So say about $4,500 in care. Now she's an ATFO.
And I was feeding her a lot of feed, though. I was feeding her 4,
maybe
3,
even more.
and 4.
When we were here, too. So she may be even more. But say $4,500, $5,000 in care. So she goes into ATFO. She gets, 100 days of training valued at $1,000. So $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 worth of investment into her. Say she adopts out for $4,000, we receive half, $2,000. So that kind of math is the way, the random Facebook troll, they don't seem able to do all those numbers. Now, every rescue doesn't do this, and every person saying they're helping horses doesn't do the same things we're doing. That's not my problem. I know what we do. And our adoption fees come up to about 10% of our overall budget, funding budget. That's a drop in the bucket. It's a drop in the bucket. So there's no way to rescue horses well and make money. There's just no way to do it.
Yeah, we're not complaining. We're just saying this is the reality.
Yes. The way that the nonprofit works as a rescue is from donors giving money, because we can't make money in the process. There's no way ethically for it to be a for-profit. And a lot of people misunderstand even what nonprofit means. It doesn't mean we don't operate with excess funds in the bank to be responsible. It means that no person is leaving with the profit. No person's making a profit. We are not. But also that donations are what make it work. It actually, in order to be a nonprofit, donors have to make up the bulk of how you run. That is a requirement of a nonprofit. But if you are running a horse rescue properly, that will be the case, because the horse adoption fees, if you're doing what you need and investing in the horse like you need to, it cannot routinely supersede the adoption fees can't routinely supersede the investment into the horse. Right. It can't work. Now, in that posting that I did, there was a lot more I talked about, like what it just costs to operate, things people don't think about, purchasing of trailers, tractors.
The water hydrants breaking 400,000 pounds.
Portable water heaters, the number of halters, lead ropes, tires, maintenance, hiring people for maintenance, the vets, the farriers that we have to pay usually regular price for, or maybe there's a small discount, but the wheelbarrows, the number of wheelbarrows we have had to replace, sawdust, medicine, supplements, feed deliveries, hay. It is an enormous amount of money, and at Heart of Phoenix, we do not pay any administrative costs to our team. We don't have any professional staff. We pay very small amounts part-time to caretakers and stall workers. That's it.
And occasionally I get chicken parmesan.
And occasionally when Susanna's hauling on the road, she'll get a chicken parmesan. We pay, we're not paying, I personally, I often sign when I'm doing things like asking donors for, to come in and help us. I always put Tania, founder and president, always a volunteer, because people assume, and it's fine to have paid staff, we just don't, because we make the decision when we sit down and have meetings. Do we want to help less horses, or do we want paid? I have had to ask that question when I have been in financial straits, because most rescue directors are paid, and it is often a 60, 80 hour a week sort of thing, and has been for many, for 12, 15, 18 years, whatever amount of years I've done this. To say, is it time to take a paycheck, or do we want to keep helping horses? And we always say, well, we want to keep helping more horses. And it's, if you're in a place where you are paid staff, that's great. And it's not that it's a bad thing, but it's important to know it costs a lot to run a rescue. The reason that we can do it the way we do is Susanna has had a husband who's worked full-time, who's now retired. I've had a husband who's worked full-time. And a lot of our helpers have had another family member, a spouse, working, making it possible for us to have that time to do it. Or also actually just doing essentially two jobs. Stephanie Davis, has maintained an incredible, what was it she told me? How many hours? She said in 2 weeks she worked 60 hours in 2 weeks. She's an accountant. Some of these people that are giving us our adult application team, these people work full-time jobs and make it work to give us at least a part-time job equivalent for free. So if you ever wonder what rescue costs, well, it costs a lot more than horse adoption fees, and it requires people who support to give their time and to give their money, or you cannot see the good work that we do at Heart of Phoenix or any nonprofit.
And because we don't do it sensationalizing everything, we don't grab in the donors that we would like to.
And I think that's on an ending point to wrap up. As we're driving here, my kids know what I do, and they've grown up in rescue, and they will follow and see, and they'll say, I know you don't want to exploit things, but gosh, you'd make a lot more money for the rescue if you did. Because they're boys. They're just like, why aren't you marketing yourself this way? And I have to have these conversations, which are important. It would be a lie. It would be wrong to it would hurt animals, or it would be a lie. And they're like, we get it. I mean, don't do it. But look how much more is out there. And they'll have those ethical questions of like, is it worth the sensationalism to help more horses? And I'm like, no, once you cross that line, you've lost any value. You've become the bad guy. And so we won't do it.
Occasionally we have a sensational story, though, and it just doesn't get the attention because we're not sensational
We're
all
not taking it. Yes, correct.
Saffron, in a sensational pages story, that would have brought in $10,000 just on the Facebook button.
Yeah, in a day.
And because we very rarely have sensational stories, we don't have the followers who like sensational stories.
And I even want to say, we have had, I think, stories that the truth about the story would blow away anything anybody else has told.
Yeah.
But we do a lot of the work that's not sensational by helping the old person turning in their old horses.
Yes.
That kind of work, because it's, as time has gone on, that has seemed to be the right way. But that's not sensational. I mean, we've done some wild rescues, but it's not, we don't only go help horses that have a wild story. I guess that's what I'd say. We don't only go help because it's a wild story. We go help because the horse needs help. Even if the story's just blah. The horse still needs help.
But also, if we get in one that's a wild story that's clearly not going to be okay, we don't keep it alive for 24 weeks.
No, my kids talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
And that, they always talk about how good that is. And I always think, if nothing else, like they see it. And I think the younger generation, to a degree, is a little more aware about things. It's folks that are our age and older that are the problem.
I like being your age. Am I your age?
Our age-ish, within 10 years. But anyway, well, I won't go any further because I'll get on a rant and
On a slalom.
A slalom. I'm telling you, I'm going to look it up. I think
slalom is a word.
Slalom.
And luge is a word, but that's not what you were saying. You were saying schlujem or something.
I don't know. Somebody find out and tell us. All right, till next time, guys. I'm Tania.
I'm Susanna.
That's Horses, of course.